Hello McLaren lovers, I got a model for you today. We got the 765 LT made by a brand called CM Model. I think about their wheels first. I'm not sure if this is my first CM model that actually is a car, but they sell aftermarket wheel sets for $164. This is actually licensed by McLaren themselves. The product code there, they have many different colors. I was sold on this because it has a chrome blue. I think I only have one of the chrome car, like a silver Honda Civic, so I thought I'd go with this one. So the story of this, based on the official McLaren website, is this car is based off of this 720S, this one. And it's also the successor to the 675 LT. The LT means long tail, so this is the 765 LT. And it's basically a track-focused car. So being track-focused, this thing has no carpeting, no audio system, no air conditioning. It has a titanium exhaust. It can actually be, excuse me, it can actually be spec'd to around 1,230 kilos, which is around the weight of a Toyota Corolla Altis. The thing is, a Toyota Corolla Altis doesn't have 765 PS coming out of a 4-liter twin-turbo V8. So this is a supercar for sure. This is a rear-wheel drive only, it's not 4-wheel drive. 0 to 62 miles per hour would be 2.8 seconds. So that's obviously going to be fast. Alright, interesting. The whole base is clear. That's nice. I kind of like it. It's different than usual. Also, in the real world, only 765 of these are going to be produced. If you're really wealthy, you can still, I guess, order one. I don't think they've finished production. I mean, it's on the McLaren website right now. Alright, so that's all I learned. I'm trying to get this open here. Well, let's get to that later. Let's just look at the photos here, compare. You can pause the video, obviously, and decide for yourself if it looks like the photographs. In general, I really like modern McLaren styling. I definitely don't like the look of this front end. I think this is better. I just don't like the headlights. Everything else looks pretty awesome, but something about those headlights just doesn't appeal to me. I don't know what it reminds me of. It's not an insect. Maybe it's an insect. Maybe it's an aquatic creature. I'm not sure. But what do you guys like the styling of modern McLarens versus, say, other brands, or over other brands? One thing I find interesting in this photo is not the dynamic rear wing, it's the exhaust location. I kind of want to like set up some lawn chairs and have a barbecue and just like, you know, roast up some marshmallows or hot dogs with the exhaust. I'm not normal, guys. I'm a bit of a whack job. Alright, well, stiff mirrors, but do I see any toe hooks or antennae? No. I guess we can take this off the stand. This is going to be well, let's take it off the stand later because my fingerprints are definitely going to be a disaster on this kind of paint finish. So I can feel the texture here, you know, these stripes here. So I think this is what it is. It's the same mold as if it was black, and it would look like carbon fiber if this is black, but they chose to inject it with clear plastic. It's an interesting effect. It's different. I like it. Just one screw holding that thing. I kind of do like the idea of a clear base because then you don't have to touch the model at all. You know, we know that it has 2 screws holding it together. And we also know that those tires are compressed a little bit, so they might have flat spots. They do have a branding on the base as well. Alright, let's start from this side. This is definitely a pretty shiny blue. You know, it looks like a spectre flame kind of thing. I think it might just be a polished casting and they shot a blue clear coat over it. I might be mistaken, but if you just look at where the brakes are, like the corner brakes, and how I move the light, what do you guys think? Please leave a comment. Do you think this is a spectre flame, like Hot Wheels does? I don't think it's a graphic. I don't think it's like a decal. It's too smooth to be a decal. It's paint. Alright, well, I like it. Let's go with this front wheel here, and we have a blue caliper in that brake, so that's nice. And then the center cap It's kind of weird because it has like a, what's that part of it? I don't know if that was glue residue or part of a decal. I think it might be a glue residue. Alright, so that's in. See, it looks like it's part of the decal though. What about this wheel? Hold on. No, see, it is supposed to be a circle. This is some sort of misprint or blemish, I think. Well, it's nice that there's something in the center cap. Alright. I don't know if this thing has lug nuts in those 5 recesses or not. The tire sidewalls are pretty good. They're rounded. But you can see also now there's an air gap here. Maybe because it's being crushed too much from down here. Look how flat that is. Alright, so this little area is just painted black, but it is recessed. This carbon fiber looks pretty good. That looks like real carbon fiber there. Some orange here. Carbon fiber here again looks good, and it's got the badge on there. This mirror just has a painted black top. It's a separate piece obviously, and it has a reflective sticker, so that's good. The window molding is raised and painted black. We'll get to the interior later. I'm probably going to open it up because it looks like it has spare wheels. This carbon fiber does not look so good. I don't know why. Something about the first two, it just looks better than this one. This is actually too crisp, where this is kind of muted and it looks like carbon fiber to me. Alright, so the caliper is facing the door on the rear one, and then I think there's a black caliper, probably for the emergency brake or parking brake. And then obviously the fuel filler. Look how clear that is. It's like domed. I think that's a clear coat. Red painted on top of the carbon. I don't know if this. I think this carbon is a tampo print. It seems smooth. I don't know if it's a decal or not. I don't know. It's hard to say. Does this touch the tire? It does. That's a real vent, okay. And then yet there's still some black paint in there as well. You know what, hold on. I gotta raise this camera. The base is getting in the way, so I need to get the camera higher up. The base is touching here. Alright, diffuser seems okay. What's going on here? Just give me a flashlight on that. Just some sort of motor details or something in the back. Those reflectors are painted red, and then kind of a muted grille texture here. This is part of the metal casting, I imagine. It's nice that there's a license plate. The McLaren looks decent enough. Now this one looks a little finer. It's possible this is plastic. It sounds like plastic, yeah. The exhausts are well done. There's depth to the tubing. I'm trying to figure out if these brake lights are just painted or clear plastic. I think they're just painted like a metallic red. Yeah, I would guess those are just painted metallic red. They still look good though because they're metallic. And then what's going on under the wing? Is there anything? Look at that. That grill, unexpectedly. I didn't expect that. But yeah, it goes under the wing. So that's pretty cool. Very neat. Alright, so up here we have some black, I guess leading to those vents in there. This texture again. And then this is like a different black than the black of the window. And the black of the window is on the top surface, I think. It's got a little orange peel to it. There's a carbon effect here for this engine cover. I gotta say that's a pretty weak engine. Unless the thing literally has a cover over all of it. Maybe it's a soundproof panel or something. I don't know. This side looks the same. It just doesn't have a fuel filler. So now looking at this door, this thing recesses quite a bit. I'm guessing there must be a vent here on the real car. But look at the pick, you know, it goes down pretty far. Maybe the door handle's right here, and then these are vents or something, or inlets. Alrighty. Okay, now the headlights, well, before that we got some carbon printing up here, and here. And this badge is really not saying McLaren, so that's not the best print job there. It's just not It's not a high DPI. It's just not good. Alright, the headlights here. We have a silver paint here for probably what our turn signals maybe. And then this thing, I think, is a clear piece. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just painted silver on the surface. Hold on. Yeah, I think that paint is literally on the surface. It's not on the backside of a clear. Could be mistaken. It's hard to say. Actually, maybe it is clear, and the silver is back there, because when you see the pick... sorry, I can't focus on this thing and hold... I only have two hands, so let me hit focus. There we go. This pick is touching the surface, and yet I still think the details are further away, so that's what makes me think there's this clear with silver behind it. It looks like there's 4 LED dimples back there. So not bad. Alright, so the wiper blade here is just casted and painted black. The blackout seems alright. Black dashboard. The steering wheel's got the stalks for the turn signal and the wiper blades. This is a crazy door system there. And let's see, so we got some sky blue seats. Interesting. I think the center console looks pretty good. Maybe it's better from the back window. The reflection. Maybe if I move the camera. Hold on. Yeah. It's a little distortion from the back glass, but that center console is pretty good. It's got some silver buttons with black middles, and I think there might be a screen there with like blue on it. Alright. The steering wheel looks like there's silver in the middle of the steering wheel, and it's got a D-shaped bottom, or a flat bottom, so it's a D-shaped steering wheel. Alright, the dashboard. I don't know if there are any gauges in there. I don't see any gauges. No, it's just like molded details. I don't really see seat belts, not yet at least. No seat belts. Is there a rear view mirror? Well, that's kind of weird. There's no rear view mirror either. So it's definitely missing a few details. It could have been done. If this was in 64, it would have had a rear view mirror and most likely seat belts, and it would cost the same or less money than this. So I feel like they could have done better. It's still a nice model. I'm still happy to have it, don't get me wrong, but I like to compare things for value. Now let's open up this bottom and just totally mess up the paint job with my fingerprints. Alright, we got this spacer thing. Kind of, yeah, definitely, flattened out the tire there. Back out the camera here. Let's see what's going on with this guy. Alright, it does say CM model, so it's nice that they take credit. And they do tell you what it is and what scale it is. So everything I want to know is there. Right. The space is plastic. Yep. Let's get these 2 screws off. Yeah, I probably should have just opened this and shown you the interior. Well, or not. Most people probably won't open their models. So it's good to see what the interior looks like through the distorted windows. Those are really tight screws. Whoa, totally open. Alright, construction wise, yeah, there was a graphic there in the center console. Very nice. But not in the actual instruments. That's a cool center console. I like it. It's a vertical screen. Kind of like a phone. Interesting. There's actually a cup holder in this thing. Yeah, I just questioned this. The whole engine detail, or lack of. I guess if you're motivated, you could search the internet and see what the engine looks like in this. Construction-wise, again, interesting. They trap the axles with these side plates. Interesting. Okay, so that does bring up this thing. What's going on with these? Back out again. Oh, that and backed out. There's little dimples here. I don't have long enough fingernails. Alright. So we have 5 spokes alternatives, and the calipers are still blue. These calipers look pretty nice. They're probably the same as the other ones. I'm assuming it's the same part. But yeah, if you want to see more brake, you swap it over. The question is, how? Does this just pop out? I guess so. Well, looking at this, there's 4 pins. And it's frictioning this thing on. So I guess I just gotta wiggle this or pull on it. Yeah, alright, that's it. But be mindful, this is a plastic base. You can see me wobble doing that. So you don't want to twist it too much, or you might possibly break the base. I guess I could try this idea. I'm gonna try to push the pin. Yeah, that worked a little bit. Alright, so that got the majority of it loose. There we go. So that's an idea if you don't want to risk this flexing. So yeah, the flat spots will probably go away if we pop these guys in here. It still has the silver printing in the center cap. You should probably pay attention to where those brake calipers were. Luckily I have the photograph. So the front wheel is going towards the door, and I think the rear one is also going towards the door. I wonder if these are totally symmetric. See, this one has that cutout. No, I think this cutout's bigger. Yeah, sorry, lost focus. I was looking at the model, not the screen. So there actually is a rear specific versus front specific. Oh, I wonder if the tires are a different size. Well, hold on. This is 10.64. 10.35. I don't know if that's a big enough difference to say they're different. But this one's 10.76. And this is 10.14. That's a huge difference. So yeah, those are staggered wheels, at least on the 5 spokes. But let me now try to hold these up in place. So this one would go here, and this rear one is here. I do think, I'm trying to focus for you guys. It's a different size rear wheel altogether, the 5 spoke. So I think these two are identical sized tires, right? And they're probably the same with the front tire. So, but this rear 5 spoke is definitely bigger. So that's interesting. I guess I'll agree with the 5 spokes and see what it looks like in here. I prefer the design of the other one, to be honest with you, but I'm curious how it's going to fill in this wheel well. Well, it definitely fills it in pretty nice. Yeah, that's the next question. Does it roll? Well, with no screws, it definitely rolls. I think the other one with the flat tires, it probably still rolls. It's gonna have a bumpiness to it. Because, see, it should roll. If this is the bigger tire and it's rolling, the smaller rear tire of this shouldn't have a problem. Alright, I guess see, my issue now, this tire, look at the sidewall. It's really, they have like dents and stuff like that. This one's fine. That one's kind of blemished as well. Let me come back, and I'm probably going to swap out the tires, flip them around, but you don't need to watch that. Or do you? Because you have to take them off these things. see. Alright, let's see if I do the twisty. Oh, well, first let's just flip a tire around and see. Let's see. There's no molding lip on this side, the way it was shown, but it's got some dents. This is the molding lip, so it's probably, I don't know, it's one or the other. This looks better, but it has the molding lip. This doesn't have the molding lip, but it's got all these weird like dents in it. So you have to pick and choose what you think is best, but what I was thinking, maybe take this, but actually the molding lip is visible on this side. And that also has a bunch of dents on it. Let's see about this one. That also has a bunch of dents. I don't know what the deal is with the tires. That one's alright, except it's showing the molding lip. So what's the back side look like? It's probably the best one, but it still doesn't look like a smooth surface. Definitely looks dented. Molding lip is shown. Again, so something's weird with their tire molds. They're just not smooth. It's strange. Alright, I'll figure this out. Yeah, so I decided to go with the actual molding flash on the visible, because at least they're all consistently smooth, even though they got this weird lip. The inside surfaces are deep in a mold, and so I don't know, they're just, I guess, hard to mold. It's just funny that a brand that established itself by making aftermarket wheel sets has bad tires on their models. The car model itself is pretty nice. It's just that the tires obviously could use some improvement. Alright, I'll get this back on this stand. Or you know what, I'll just do that later, because we're going to compare some other models. Right. So, just for your reference, I haven't wiped this down. All my fingerprints are still on this thing, and it actually doesn't pick up fingerprints as bad as I thought. Maybe it's just because it's a blue, but it's not so bad. Alright, let's pull out a few other McLarens. So Grandy and Partners has this 675 LT coupe. Alright, so that's the predecessor long tail, I guess. But neither of these are really long tails, right? I mean, if you look at the tire, there's not much of a tail here. It's not like the speed tail McLaren. So it's kind of strange marketing lingo, the long tail, when it's not a long tail. Sparky has this thing, the 720S GT3. Sadly, Sparky I think uses decals often, or all the time. But it has rubbery mirrors, so that's nice. The Granny has rigid mirrors as well. Yeah, those are definitely rigid and quite thin stocks. Mini GT, this is the Senna. It's one of the rare Mini GTs where it tells you what it is. And that's a really, this is definitely, it's not an attractive vehicle in my opinion. I like all the stuff going on, but it's just not a pretty car. And you can say that about my design here. This is a 3D printed design of my own doing. I just call it the STR, the Short Track Racer. It's a single-seater like the F1. Alright, well, you can definitely appreciate that chrome bluish. It's nice. So look at the light, you know, how it catches and lets go of that with the pearlescent or clear coat. Maybe it's not pearlescent clear coat. I think it's just a blue clear coat on a chrome body or a polished body. And that is why I got it. It's definitely a unique paint job in my collection. So I do think that it's great that CM model here throws in this extra set of wheels, and it's quite interesting that the rear wheels are larger. So it's kind of like a fancy Hot Wheels. It's a realistic looking fancy Hot Wheels. But I looked up on the internet. I don't think McLaren actually has these 5 spokes. So these would be, I guess, considered aftermarket wheels. But it's nice to have that option, you know, because it also gives you some better chances of having better tires. So that's good. And then the interior detail is nice. I like the different colors. So all in all, I think it's great. So a few updates. I forgot. I was fiddling around. You don't need to remove the base, by the way. You can just swap these wheels out nice and quick. So I think that's really great. It's very easy. I wish other brands would do that, like BM Creations. They make you take the whole thing apart, add spacers and all this wacky stuff. So these guys are onto something. Also, check this out. When I was messing around, I noticed this thing wobbling. So this rear wing can actually come up. It's actually painted, the struts. So that's really cool. Did not expect that. Right, so this is a lot cooler than I thought. So definitely recommend these guys. I know they have a P1. I'll probably pick it up just because, you know, they did such a good job on this. LCD model also makes McLarens, so that's why I've avoided these McLarens, because LCD models are just awesome. But this might be giving them a run for the money, because the wheels, and this is a great paint job. Alright guys, well, hopefully I'll see you if I pick up that other model.